The best place to live as a trader. You want to find the best place to trade from. So there is three different categories. The first one is the category A. Okay, you make between 0 and 2,000 US dollar, which is not much, but still. So your profile is you're not looking for luxury. Your priority is not luxury at all. It's runway. You absolutely need a low rent, cheap food, good internet, of course, if you want to trade from your home, basically. Low daily expenses, the car, the bus, whatever, and enough comfort to work. You need to get a proper desk, right? So every unnecessary 1,000 US dollar you spend is capital you can't reinvest. So you don't have much money, so you have to be careful and you have to choose your destination wisely. So the best option under 2,000 US dollar per month are first Indonesia, Bali. Yeah, everyone know Bali. Yeah, Bali is famous. You have many people in Canggu, Kuta, Seminyak, whatever, even Uluwatu now. Indonesia is very, very cheap. You can eat for, 2 or 3 euros for a meal. So at the end of the month, it's not that much. For the cost of living as well in general, it's very cheap. And you can get some cheap house, such as this one, as you can see, less than 1,000 a month. This one is 1,000 US dollar a month. So yeah. And on top of that, the currency, okay, the Indonesian rupiah is very low. So if you come with US dollar or euro, this is crazy, right? You have a big advantage. The second option is Malaysia. Malaysia is quite cheap as well, to be honest. You can find some, apartment for $1,000 basically a month. You have this kind of pool, you have the gym, you have enough space to create your office basically to trade from. Then you have other options such as Turkey. Istanbul is pretty nice for that. Morocco, you have some cities such as Agadir or even Marrakesh, which is not that expensive, especially if you come from Europe. Romania is quite nice. And Poland. Poland, especially Warsaw, the capital, is very nice. You have some nice building and you can get some good apartment for, less than basically 1K a month. So the only thing is they don't use euro, but still, it's pretty cheap to live there. So yeah, of course, you don't need Singapore now. If you have this kind of profile, you don't want to live in Singapore, it's too expensive. You cannot afford Singapore, for example. You just need somewhere affordable where you can just work, trade, and build. This is like a first step if you want to move from your hometown, basically. Okay, so this is the category A. Category B is probably you now. It's between 2K and 10K amount, which is not that much, but still, this is a good amount of money per month. So you now have option. You can choose. You have better option. So once you're constantly making a few thousand per month, the equation changed because before was less than 2K a month. You don't have much choice. You have to check every bill. You have to check everything. Between 2 and 10K, it start to become quite interesting. So you can optimize for quality of life, plus infrastructure, plus time zone, which is definitely important as a trader, right? Plus networking, important as well, instead of simply minimizing expenses. Because, for example, in Bali, Turkey, or whatever, you have to minimize the expenses. You have to check everything. So the option for this profile are, let's say, Thailand. Yeah, Thailand is probably the top one for that. If you stay in Bangkok, even if you stay in Phuket, Pattaya, Koh Samui, or even if you go to some other island, Koh Yao Noi, Koh Phangan, Koh Tao, whatever, this is pretty cheap. So between 2 and 10K, you can afford it. No issue about it. So it's pretty nice. As you can see, this is, for example, Bangkok. You can get some apartment for less than 40,000 baht a month. This one is 30,000 baht. So they are not that big. They are between 30 and 50 square meter, but still, you have the gym, you have the pool inside, you have everything basically. You still have 7-Eleven, whatever. The other option in China, I went to China and China is definitely cheap. The only issue with China, and you have to be careful, is like it's not easy to find an accommodation in China. This is not the best option. You can go in China for some holiday. If you want to live there, you need to know some people because of course you cannot use Airbnb. Of course you cannot really use all the app like that that are used in other countries. So you have to be careful with that, but still you can get some nice deal, especially in cities such as Guangzhou, Shenzhen, or whatever. The third option is Spain. If you want to stay in Europe, Spain is pretty nice. You have some nice city. Yeah, of course, Madrid, Barcelona. You can stay in Malaga as well, which is pretty nice. Marbella, if you want some, south vibe, beach club, and all this kind of stuff. Then the other option is Italy. So this is, for example, Milan or Milano. Okay, so this is not that expensive, it's like 1.5k for this one, 1.6. Still, it's not that big. Okay, you have to consider the size as well. But you live in a top city in Italy, so this is definitely good. Another option now is Portugal. So Portugal is definitely crazy now. Every entrepreneur, digital nomad who want to stay in Europe, go there. So you have to consider that the cost of living is increasing as well. But you have some nice cities such as Lisbon, okay, or Lisboa, and Porto. You also have Faro in the south if you want to stay in the south, but you should definitely consider staying in the big cities such as Porto or Lisbon. You have some good nightclub if you want to party, good rooftop, good vibe. Honestly, Portuguese people are really, really nice, very chill. So this is pretty nice. Another option, if you really want to stay close to the big hub in Europe without spending much money, you can stay in Germany. So for example, Frankfurt, you know that we have the ECB in Frankfurt, for example. So if you want to stay in Frankfurt, you can get this kind of apartment for less than 4k a month. You have for this one like 65 square meter. You have a nice view on the building. You can create your desk here. You can enjoy the view, which is definitely not bad. You have another option here, right? Less than 4k as well. You have some city view as well. Basically, it's the same size. You have 2 rooms, which is definitely better than the one in Milano, for example, but this is a bit more expensive as well. But again, you can live extremely well without burning your entire income simply because you make more money than the category A. Okay, so as well, you have to consider that Asia can be the perfect for traders. Honestly, Asia is definitely one of the best options if you make between 2 and 10k. Why? Because you can get crazy lifestyle for nothing, basically. So the massive advantage of Asia in general is the time zone. And I will explain, because basically the morning, you can do whatever you want. You have the Asian session, so, Japan open, Australia as well, okay? And then this is Europe and the US during the evening. So through the day, you have basically the 3 sessions. You can trade during the 3 sessions itself, which is definitely good. So you can, let's say during the morning, take a coffee, then you go to the gym, you walk, you prepare your different scenario, you check what's going on in the Asian session, all this kind of stuff. You check the Kospi, the Nikkei, the Shanghai Composite. Then Europe open in the afternoon, so you check how London open, you check what's happening with the European indices, the stock market in general, the Forex, such as the USD, GBUSD. And then you have the US session. So let's say you have some US data, such as the CPI, okay, you have the GDP as well, you have the NFP, whatever, right? So you have some important data. So basically you can follow the 3 sessions through the day. So that's why Asia is definitely good. And that's also why more and more traders are moving to Asia, especially Bangkok, the one I mentioned earlier. So yeah, that schedule can be extremely efficient. If you're looking for efficiency and a good, basically, cost of living, Asia is definitely the best of the best. Then you have the category C. So category C is basically for the top profiles. So if you make more than 10k a month, which is not really difficult to be honest, but if you're still stuck between the 0 and 2k, I already shared the previous place. If you're stuck between 2 and 10k, I shared a good option before. So if now you make more than 10k, basically you can do whatever you want. Or let's say it's easier to find a good place. So now the location become an asset. You're not running after some shitty place or whatever, or checking everything. It's just an asset, okay? And this is way different. Once you're constantly above 10k a month, you can start considering places that aren't optimized for cost. And this is really important. Those places are optimized for access. You have such places such as, let's say, Singapore, Hong Kong, London, Paris, Switzerland, such as Zurich, for example, or Geneva, which is definitely good, or even Dubai. all these places are definitely really, 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 really nice if you want to trade. Why? Because in Singapore, you can meet some people working in finance, right? Hong Kong, big financial hub as well. London, yeah, you can go to Canary Wharf as well. You can meet some wealthy people, it's really nice. Paris, you have La Défense, which is a good place as well. In Switzerland, this is well known for the for the banking and all this kind of stuff, so this is really nice. And Dubai, same, it's a really, really good place now. You have a lot of wealthy people, the environment is pretty nice, and for focus is definitely good. So you have basically everything. You have the capital, finance, networking, business, infrastructure. You don't miss anything. Okay, this is the top of the top. I can add as well New York, of course, but this is like obvious, right? So yeah, this is definitely the best option in my opinion, if you want to level up the game. Because again, we are talking about financial hub. We are not talking about random place. We're talking about financial hub. And if you're a trader, you want to stay close to the financial hub. As I said, you can meet some people, you can get crazy knowledge. You have this kind of energy. When you stay in a city such as, let's say, Singapore, it's very cool. Let's say for the lunch, you go to MBS, you go to C'est La Vie or whatever, during the night as well. And during the day, you can go close to JP Morgan. You can meet some people from Citibank or whatever. And you have this kind of energy. This is really nice. This is really safe. This is, hot. This is really, really all about the money. And when you're in this kind of environment, it will definitely push yourself and your limit. So yeah, this is definitely nice. So the question now is why pay more? Why you should pay more, for example, in Singapore, in Hong Kong, in Paris, in Zurich, for example, in Switzerland, instead of other city? Simply because living in London and Singapore obviously costs more than Bali. Makes sense. In Bali, the Indonesian rupiah is first of all very cheap. Okay, the cost of living is very cheap. People are not making that much money. So yeah, and as I said, you're surrounded by banks, funds, asset manager, traders, entrepreneurs, and capital. The energy in this kind of city is definitely crazy. If you never tried, just go there and you will understand what I mean. Because at a certain level, your environment can become more valuable than the money you're saving on rent. Yes. And for that, as I say, you have London, for example. So in London, you can get this one for, let's say, this apartment is not that bad. Okay, I check quickly. It's like 10K a month. And you're in the middle of London. You're not like 20 or 30 minutes away. You're in the city center. And you're not that far from Canary Wharf. Same for this one, for £7,000. You have the bills included, of course. You have some review if you want to check. And basically, this is a 2-bedroom. You have some building view here. Same for this one. The design is not that bad. It's a bit cheaper. Okay, we're close to the 5K basically pound, bills included. You have 2 bedrooms. This is an apartment. You can check the review as well. And maybe this one is not the best simply because you don't have like this kind of penthouse view. You can get a penthouse in London. Still, it's pretty difficult to get one, but you can get one. But if you want to stay low-key in like city center, but this kind of UK vibe, with the wall, the brown wall, all this kind of stuff, this is a kind of apartment you can definitely target for this price. And as I say, Singapore as well. Singapore is definitely difficult as well to get an apartment. Even if you have money, sometimes it's not that simple. So for example, this one's about 22K Singaporean dollars. So now you don't care about the money. It's all about the asset. So you want a good view. You want enough space. As you can see, make a quick comparison between the space. It's not the same. And it's Singapore, right? Same here. You have a nice pool. You can enjoy it for 20K a month. But it's not only about the price. It's about the environment, the view you have, the energy you have. And that's why you pay more for this kind of place. This is definitely important to have a very, very good environment as a trader. You cannot trade from your 15 square meter room. If you trade from your 15, 20, 30 square meter room, from your parents' basement, I'm not sure you're gonna do anything from it. So this is not the best option. So there's also something important. You don't have to make this mistake. What mistake? Making 1,500, 2,000, whatever, and moving to Singapore to look successful make no sense. And still, you would just book, let's say, a car. It will cost a lot of money. I mean, if you compare, for example, Bali or even Morocco or Poland with Singapore, the pay you're gonna, yeah, I mean, you're gonna pay more for what you can get in those countries because this is Singapore. You pay the price for the safety, for the good environment, for the financial hub, everything. So it doesn't make sense if you make that much money to go to Singapore because this is not enough. Making 15K a month and choosing Kuala Lumpur because it's $700 cheaper may also be unnecessary. Yeah, let's be honest. Kuala Lumpur is a nice city. I've been there many times. I stay here in some nice residence. You have the Ritz-Carlton residence, all this kind of stuff. KLCC is really nice. But to be honest, you don't have this energy. You don't have much banks. You have the BNP Paribas, you have JP Morgan, but you don't have crazy building. You don't have this energy that make you, let's say, different when you feel the power, all this kind of stuff. You can get it in Singapore. You can get it in nice cities such as London, in New York, in Paris, but in Kuala Lumpur, it's still like not crazy. So in my opinion, it's not really worth it to consider Kuala Lumpur just to save $700. It doesn't really make sense. So yeah, it has to match your environment, right? I mean, the city has to match your environment. I mean, you want an environment. So if you choose a bad city for that, I'm not sure you're going to be happy. I'm not sure the performance will be the best. I'm not sure you're going to be happy with the choice you made. And if you regret after spending the money on rent, you spend money for nothing because at the end you're not happy. What you want is the best environment at the moment, considering your current budget and revenue. And that's why if you make between 0 and 2K, just consider Bali, Morocco, Poland, cheap place. If you make between 2 and 10K, you can still stay in Europe, Portugal, Spain, Italy, whatever. If you make more than 10K, which is definitely the best, right? Make more money, that's it. Just work more. At the end, you can choose whatever you want. So you have to build first and then you upgrade. Okay, you don't have any shortcut. Shortcut doesn't exist. Now the question about the tax, because I know that most people are talking about the tax. So I'm not a specialist about the tax. I'm not going to talk about it. But you have to understand something. Cost of living is different from tax residency. And if you move somewhere, you have to consider the tax residency. So it's just better to get someone to explain it, a professional. You can pay someone for that, and they will definitely explain everything. Because where you enjoy living and where it makes sense to structure your business are two different questions. Sure, you can make both of them in the same place, but it's not really easy because you have to take into consideration the visa rules. Yeah, most people forget it, but you cannot work with a tourist visa. Huh? I know many people do that, but you cannot. You have to consider the tax residency. You have to check the number. So usually for most of them, it's like 182, 183, but it's not only about the day you stay in the country with. It's definitely your bank account, your business in the other country, all this kind of stuff. So you have to consider everything. As well, the company structures is definitely important. And of course, trading taxation can completely change the ranking. Because as I said, you're not moving to those countries just to visit the country. It's about living there. It's about trading from the place you want to stay in. So that's why you have to check all these parameters. And you don't have to choose a country from a TikTok saying 0% tax, because I know that if you go on TikTok, if you go on Instagram, or even on YouTube, you have many people saying that, oh, if you go in this country, you have 0%. Yeah, but when you go on some website, okay, or you talk with some professional, it's not really the same. Yeah, you can get 0%, but you need this, you need that, you have to be careful with this, that. On TikTok, Instagram, or YouTube, they avoid the question. They just say, okay, you have 0%, clickbait, they make the views, and then they sell the shitty product if they have some, and that's it. But you, as a trader, you need to consider the taxes. This is definitely important, especially if you have a company, right? Makes sense. So you need to consider the tax for your company and your own taxes as well. So of course you have places such as Dubai, where you don't really pay taxes. Even Singapore is not that high comparing to most European countries, but still you have to consider everything. So it's just better to talk with a professional about it. Just don't go on TikTok to get some shitty advice, right? So the real answer is there is no best country. To be honest, I know the city or the country I stay in, where I stay and all this kind of stuff. For you, it can probably be different. So only you know the city or the country you want to live in. But again, there is no best country. Some of them have crazy, let's say, lifestyle or skyscrapers and more taxes. Some also have low taxes or even 0%. But the energy and the whole environment is not that good. So you have to consider everything. It's all about the balance. So as I said, less than 2K, just optimize for runway. Between 2 and 10K, optimize for lifestyle plus efficiency. And plus 10K, optimize for access, network, and opportunity. And that's why you should consider places such as Hong Kong, Singapore, Dubai, and all this kind of stuff, Zurich, if you want to stay in Europe. So your location should help you build with, not help you look worthy. Because again, on social media, you have to be careful with something. Most people want to act worthy. They want people to understand that, okay, I have money, but maybe they don't have money. This is just, a lie. They want to look worthy, but they're not worthy. Your goal is to become worthy, not to look worthy. This is two different things. And that's why you definitely need to consider all this stuff. You need to better assess your situation. You need to make more money at the end. If you don't make enough money, make more money, trade more, trade better. And that's how it works. So just the last advice, don't move somewhere because it looks good on Instagram. This is very important. Don't follow everyone on social media. Move somewhere that makes sense for the trader and person you are today, not tomorrow, today. What the best place now for you? What do you need? Do you need 5-star hotel? Okay, you can consider some country because some also don't have crazy 5-star hotel. Do you need some low taxes? Okay, you can consider some country. Do you need some good health system? Because this is also important. You need to consider your health. If something happens, you need to be sure that you have good hospital, you have good doctors, specialists. You need to consider all the things. So it's all about you. It's not about what other people say. It's about you. So yeah, you need to choose wisely. And again, then yes, of course, you can upgrade as your income grows basically. But if you don't make enough money, make more money. Because again, with money, you can buy basically anything. But it's not the final goal. Because at the end, once you have the money, you have more choice. And this is part of what we call the freedom. So again, it was just a quick video to help you to better choose the country you want to stay in. So again, if you have any question, feel free to ask. Don't forget to subscribe. And yeah, happy weekend.